Help me. Help. I see you. Help. I see you in help.
All right, we're back this week. I picked up a book on some kind of. We kind of neglected this portion of self-help for quite a while, and it's self-defense.
Oh, damn.
How do you learn that, like, from a book?
Yeah, where it's like, you're like in a street fight and you're like, what did they say in paragraph 3 on
like,
page 4?
Unless that book is like a gun owner's manual, like how...
Right. Unless that book is just hollowed out and in it is a gun, then I don't know how it's going to save you.
It's close. It's kind of a children's book, and it's called My Parents Open Carry, an open carry adventure.
What dark? Is this something like Ted? This sounds like something Ted Cruz is like reading to a group of kindergartners. An open carry adventure? I feel like this is going to be super dark where like the kid finds a gun in his parents' closet and the adventure is he goes to the backyard and accidentally like shoots his 4-year-old brother.
What could be the best adventure you could get into by open carry?
Yeah. What is the open carry adventure? I walked into a Bojangles and intimidated everyone inside.
It's so weird when people do that shit and they're like, well, a good guy with a gun. I'm like, okay, but if you like walk outside like with an open carry gun all the time, so like in best case scenario, you have to like kill another human being.
Yeah, I know.
Which
It's
is
like
some traumatizing.
Yeah, you're like hoping for that. It's also it's just weirdly intense. It's like same way when like, you know, you're indoors and someone puts their shoes on, you're like, where are you going? It's like you see someone outside with a gun, you're like, okay, what are you about to like? What's about to go down? Especially when it's in a McDonald's, you're like, oh, this is intense.
Just walking. Can I get a number 4? Like, yeah, for free. For free. I'm not gonna charge you, bro. Like you can go.
I don't even like the cell phone outside the pants. I feel like that's a the gun is like, how about you calm it the fuck down?
If you're walking around with like the cell phone clipped to the belt, white dude, that tells me like you sell like weapons like to people. Like you're the reason that we like have a gun problem in this country.
Yeah. God, open carry adventure.
Would you ever get a gun?
I thought about it multiple times, but I also think that I'm the type of person who should legally be not allowed to buy a gun.
No, I bet it's not.
If any of us can get a gun, the gun laws aren't good enough.
Yeah, they're not working well. First question, if they're like, do you have a podcast? Yeah, no.
I might have lost too many nights to drink and then like have like I'm not.
Oh, no.
You wake up, the gun's gone. You don't know what the fuck it is.
I'm too impulsive and sad.
Like on average, someone could own a gun, but I feel like if you just have a gun with you at all times, you're not the perfect person at all times. Like there are some.
Right.
You feel me?
There's some times when you're just like...
I got an argument a year ago in Chicago. On my way to the bus, and I called a stranger a cunt to his face. Now imagine if I did that, but I had a gun. my first impulse was like, I might just fucking just blow your head off and go to work.
Yeah, I thought about when I come back in the city with like the recession and stuff. I'm like, fuck, I want to get a gun and I'm offend myself. But I was like, you know what? I feel like, no. I feel like just... Yeah,
shit's crazy right here. You heard in the shot got fucking someone almost like shot him the other day.
What, just walking down the street?
He was with his girlfriend and his sister, and they were driving in the car. And the shot is a friend of ours for the podcast, but he was driving, and he said like they boxed him in like on like a black SUV, and they like boxed him in where like he couldn't drive, so he had to like.
That's like some straight up like cartel kidnapping shit.
Like they thought he was somebody or some shit probably, but he had to ram them to get past them and shit. Like he had to ram them with his car, like ripped his.
They
fucking
boxed him. That's like some shit where I'm like, oh, I've pissed off the CIA.
You feel me? And then they fucking and then he had to ram their shit and keep going, and they followed him. They followed him for like 15-20 minutes.
What? Can you imagine if you did that like high level operation just to get like $20? Like you're like I'm just like in.
And that's great because that really is because then what if they would have like murked and they would have killed him, and then they would have like looked in the car and be like, oh, that was the wrong dude, and then just kept driving, and that's just like
yeah. I mean, if you go through all that and then you look in the window and it's the wrong dude, you're almost like, well, I did 90% of the job, but even though it's the wrong guy, I might just finish it. You know, it's like I put in that much effort.
You just tell your boss.
Now you're gonna be like,
I don't think crime works like a job where you're like, well, I clocked in at 9, so I still did the 8. I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's not done. I'm not getting paid overtime. Going home. Damn it. There's Ozarks to watch.
Do any of you guys have experience with guns? Have you ever held a gun or anything?
Nope.
I held a gun I was in Mount Erie for a stand-up show with Nick, and it went horribly. And not the show, like no one was there.
Is
and
it the parking lot afterwards, just thinking if you might end it?
Is this a dark story?
No. So no, it went horribly. But then the guy who ran the show is an insane veteran in this Erie, Pennsylvania. And then we did a guest spot on another show. It went fine, but he wanted us to like stay at his house. Like he was like, "Oh, you can crash at my house." You go to his house. It's just weird. There's American flags everywhere and like random wads of money. And he's very strange. And just talks about how things haven't been the same since he's like came back from Iraq or whatever. And then we get like super high and drunk, and he's like, "Hey, you wanna hold like my semi-automatic?" And I was just like trying to be friendly. I was like, "Yeah, I'll hold it." And then I remember I woke up my friend Nick to like just me like drunk as fuck holding a semi-automatic weapon in the
See,
living room.
that's the thing about guns. Like if you have one, like people are just kind of like dying to show it off and stuff.
Yeah, it's not like a.
You feel me? It's like, do you actually want? Because people always talk about some self-defense shit, but it's like you don't. No, it's not, bro. It's because it's cool to have it. It's not some self-defense. It's fucking cool.
I mean, to be
shit.
fair, I think you could say that there is like sometimes
Like
if you're in a high crime
semi-automatic?
area,
I feel like
no, not like a pistol.
Also, it's like again, you say that shit, but it's like, bro, you live in high crime. So cool. So you have a gun on you, you get robbed on the train. First of all, most of the time people aren't just gonna like kill you over some shit, but it's like. So best case scenario, you're like on the red line at 2 a.m. A motherfucker tries to rob you. You pull out your gun, you shoot him. So best case, you could have just like given up your wallet and like $100, but instead you like killed a teenager.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
no good.
best case with the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like a symptom of a thing. Fix the problems. Then. Make it so people don't have to fucking rob people. Don't be like, oh, everybody needs to have guns.
Yeah, I feel like 80% of people that do buy guns just buy them so they can pull them out when everyone's high and show them off.
I mean, that's a lot of them. That's a lot of it. I feel like I haven't seen that. The only other gun experiences I had like a weed dealer in high school that just there was like a gun on his table, and then I was like, "Is that loaded?" He's like, "Damn right it is. No one's fucking with me." And I was like, okay. it's just one of those like, so anyway, what have you been up to? It was just like, I don't really know how to like riff my way out of that.
Yeah, I kind of grew up in a gun culture out in rural Washington, but I've never like personally. I'd never wanted to even like touch them at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, my dad hunted and stuff, and he would always try to take me out, and I was like, I really don't want to go out and kill something. That doesn't seem that fun to me at this.
Have you hunted?
Have you like shot something or no?
No, I haven't even.
Oh,
held
damn!
a
So
gun.
you rebelled hard.
Yeah.
Because I imagine at your baptism for the photo, they probably tried to at least put like a 35 in your hand for the photo.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
my dad stored his gun in my room.
That is insane.
Maybe.
That is utterly insane.
That's a lot of trust. That's like, hey, you better not school shit. That
Almost sounds like some like Florida Project shit where it's like you hear like I don't know like your mom screaming in the middle of the night and you grab the gun.
Yeah.
God
so
damn, Cole.
maybe he was trying to like acclimate me to
Was
guns.
it just there? Do you think that was like a message? It wasn't like aimed at you, right? It wasn't like you're going to put this gun here and you better hope I don't come in and use it.
No, actually, he never told me. I was looking for
My
some.
parents wouldn't be able to tell me shit if they did that. I'm like, really? Why don't we see who can get to my room first? You want me to do the dishes? Why don't we see who can run faster? You're 45, I'm 13. Let's see who can make it.
Maybe he stored the gun in my room and the ammo in my sister's room just to like spread it out around the house.
Is that safe though to be like, hey, let's put, it's a safe place for the gun? My child's bedroom.
That's probably the worst place.
You know,
you hear those stories about like,
innocent
you're like,
kid.
how does
like,
a kid like even get a gun and like get the parents gonna shoot you? And you're like, oh, because motherfucker just keeps it under his bed apparently.
Or was your
what
dad
gun? Like
just
a pistol? You kept like a fucking rifle in your room.
A rifle. It was pretty long.
Oh, I thought like your dad ran out of spare chains when you lost a tooth, and he just put like a Magnum under your pillow. And he's like, the tooth fairy wanted you to become a man this year.
Yeah.
You know?
He kept a baseball bat in his room, but he kept the gun in my room.
I don't know what that says at all. I don't know how to compartmentalize that, but that says something real fucking weird.
Yeah. And he never told me he kept it in my room. It was just I was looking for.
Wait, so were you cleaning and then you just found a gun in your room?
Yeah, I was looking for something at the top shelf of my closet, and I was like feeling around, and there was just this like very large, like gun in its in a thing.
And your immediate thought was it going into the living room and being like, "Looks like we're going to CC's Pizza tonight, bitches."
I was gonna say,
You're like, I'm calling the show.
how big? I'm not insulting you, but how big? I mean, how big is a trailer where your room is also the kitchen, is also the living room, is also his room?
Yeah, I mean, was it your room or was it just the room? Was it just the only room that there was?
I actually had because my dad was a carpenter and we built our house. It was a pretty large house for what it was, and I actually had the whole downstairs, a whole floor to myself at one point.
You better. You have a fucking gun.
The fucking you bet. I built the house. I helped build the shit.
Yeah, I had like my own kitchen and my own like shower and stuff. It was kind of nice.
Your own
How
kitchen.
old were you?
I had my own like bar down there too.
You had your own kitchen. You had a better life than arguably I've ever had than when you're 11.
You really like went back and forth between like, oh, I grew up like having to chop logs and shit. I had my own kitchen and bar when I was 14.
Yeah,
I thought you were like kind of a. I thought you came like straight out of like a opiate addiction documentary.
yeah.
I had a kitchen and a bar.
But
Yeah.
I mean, we lived in a trailer before that house, and like for a year, we also lived in that house when it wasn't fully built, and we had like no hot water at all. And for a year, we just lived in the basement and on mattresses with no. it was extremes.
All
at
right,
some
so it
point.
did suck. Yeah, okay. All right. Your childhood was not great at points. All right. Point taken.
Yeah, we went between extremes a lot. It was a interesting life. So that was my experience with guns. I mean, a lot of my friends had guns. People would drive to school and they would have guns in their cars and stuff in the parking lot. But that was just kind of accepted. I don't know if that would be.
That's also really intense.
That's just accepted.
For a high school student to have a gun in their car.
That's so much trust to that your school is not going to get shot up.
Yeah, but I don't know. So I haven't really.
It sounded like you just cocked a gun right there.
Yeah, that literally sounded like you're like, I don't know, but going for Tesla today, baby.
So I figured I'd pick up this book, read a little bit about our Second Amendment, see if any of the arguments in the book, would persuade us into buying a gun for self-defense. I need kind of a lot of persuasion, but it sounded like you didn't really need that much, right, Kenyon? You're thinking
no, not really. I just, you know what? I would do it just for the experience.
The experience of owning a gun?
No, not owning it. Like, I don't know. Because when people talk about like, it's so fucking hard, the state's on your, like, it'd be kind of nice, kind of interesting to be like, well, how hard is it actually to get a gun?
You know?
Yeah.
Do you need us to buy a gun for this? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I can't just drop $400 on a gun. I can't.
I don't know, dude. If you can't find a job in the next week, you might have to invest in a gun. That might have to be the new job.
Unemployment asks you like, are you looking for? They're like, where'd you spend the money we gave you? I'm like, I got a gun.
To be fair, I feel like in 2020, if the unemployment office was like, so what have you done this week? And you brought a gun, they'd be like, excellent work.
I feel
like, all right, seems like you're on the right track.
Yeah. At this point, I might just buy a gun out of like boredom. Like I'm kind of exhausted.
All right, well that's not the that is not the reason. Can you imagine if you're in the application, what do you need this gun for? And you write boredom, period.
Yeah, I feel like
it's just a cue ball looking white dude like you. That is terrifying. I do not want to have that.
I don't know. I feel like it's been so long, cooped up with coronavirus and stuff. Like I've been doing just.
Might as well just go out and just use a weapon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I've been inside for so long that I've just been like, hey, what's the point of life? Why not just go to a Walmart and show everyone what I feel inside?
Like I've been making jam and stuff. I've been.
So you just are like, I made all the recipes. I might as well buy a firearm.
I bought some.
That's the most like anti-gun. Anybody, I would never think that person would have. Someone who's like, yeah, I make like a homemade jam.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that could go with some like some of those survivalist people, like a gun and homemade jam.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's
up in
definitely.
there. I also bought some cactus seeds and I've been growing cacti in my apartment.
Oh yeah, you're right. You are fucking bored, dude. I mean, you're growing the slowest growing plant probably known to man.
It's like an ugly plant. It like pokes you.
There's no like payoff. No
like
payoff.
flowers or some shit.
Yeah, at the end, you're like, oh, look, a health hazard. Oh, look, great.
Yeah.
Something I could trip on at 2
An
a.m. in my
ugly
apartment.
plant that hurts you and like and like doesn't even need water really. So it doesn't even really need you.
Not impressive
It's
at
just
all
this-
that you kept it alive.
Yeah, I bought 300 cactus seeds.
You brought 300 cactus seeds? What the fuck are you doing? You building like a moat around a castle? What the fuck what are you talking about?
I feel like you could use cactuses in self-defense.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know. I feel kind of like I kind of understand how housewives in like the 1920s and 30s and stuff started feeling like cooped up in their house, just doing.
Yeah, because they were essentially slaves with no rights.
Yeah. Like I
You know that was a thing. They like gave them lobotomies. Like if you're like, hey,
if you're like depressed or some shit, they would like JFK's sister. That happened to her. That was
cut
like a
off
big
part of
thing.
her brain.
Yeah,
They're
they gave her like a lobotomy and she was like never the same.
yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Like Corona,
She
like
was, like,
staying
kinda
inside all
depressed.
day. That literally is just the life of like a housewife in the 1950s. Where it's like,
kinda-
how about you just
kinda
stay
is.
in?
Like
And you just make food and fold the clothes. And they're like socially distance away from people that matter. Okay.
yeah, that's
and stay
kind
in
of
there.
like I understand why they were making jam and all that sort of stuff. It's like, what else is there? I'm trying to find things to do, you know? Jamming it's not that fun, but what else is there?
You call it jamming? Don't give
Yeah,
it like
don't-
a
let's
cool,
not call
don't
it
give it a
jamming.
verb or some shit. No, jamming is like when you go on stage with your band and y'all like make some
Yeah.
cool shit. Now you like make homemade jam.
Sounds like you started like a cooking YouTube channel, and you're like, all right, fellow jammers, we're getting it started today.
Yeah, so I picked up this children's book. I'll show you guys the cover. Let me share my screen just so you can get an idea of the quality of this book.
Looking at holy shit, holy shit. Oh my god. To be fair, this is how I imagine like all the times you talk about your family. I just feel like they look exactly like this, Cole.
This
That
is
is
maybe
wild.
maybe the most Aryan family I've ever seen.
Yeah, I've ever seen in my entire
It's
life.
just fucking great.
My parents open carry. Oh my.
Written by Brian Jeffs and Nathan Nephew.
Yeah, that's
Illustrated by Lorna Bergman. They all have like the same face, just like juxtaposed on each other. That's
it's
like why
literally-
it freaks me out.
It's like, why does the dad just looks? It's essentially the mom with the mustache. It really looks like a
And
village
then
of
the
the
son
damned.
is like,
Yeah.
is that a son or a daughter? Like, it's,
I don't
it's just
even
like
know. They just went. It's kind of
blend
weird
of-
for the. I didn't expect that my parents open carry to go like non-binary with the kid. I did not expect that as a movie.
Yeah, that's a surprising turn.
Yeah. Honestly, one person open carrying is scary. A whole family open carrying in a store.
It's terrifying. Is actually Wake of the militia.
I would like kick you. I
Yeah,
would,
whole-
if you
whole
came-
family
I'd be like,
open
we're not serving you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a family, dad, mom, daughter, all with brilliant blue eyes and the goldest of hair.
Right.
No, this book is written by like like fucking Richard Spencer. Like this shit,
Yeah.
shit is fucking crazy.
The dad's hat is even like golden blonde for some reason.
I like how they're like, well, we gotta have blonde on top of his head somehow, even if his hair isn't blonde. Blue eyes
Why
blonde.
it literally looks like a cult. Like that's like the scariest.
They don't look. Yeah, it's the. They don't look sad or happy. It's sort of this weird neutral.
Hitler was like obsessed with blonde hair. I was like, there's one like Swedish people. Like most white people do not look. Most white people are like brown haired or like gingers. Like that's like not.
Yeah. Do you think the whole Aryan look, does baldness go into that at all?
I think
What-
baldness
I see a bald
doesn't
white
go.
guy
I don't
who
think baldness goes into anything.
Do you think Hitler would have gotten rid of all the bald people, or would he have?
It's scary. You're genetically inferior.
Do you think if Hitler only got rid of bald people, people would be mad at him?
I don't think the U.S.
Do you think anyone would have been interviewed, or they just would have been like, "Listen, I was at Berlin the other day and it just looked great." That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is he turned the economy around in 4 years. That's all anyone would talk about.
Yeah, so it's a children's book. He said he wrote it because he could not find many pro-gun children's books, and so
Yeah, because there shouldn't be children books instructing them on how to use weapons.
Are there anti-gun children's books?
Yeah.
Is that like a big lobby?
There's also not that many children books, about 9/11 or the Israel-Palestine conflict. Just not about like serious issues. Like generally, it's just like see Spot go. It's not like see Spot go because the leftists took over the country and black helicopters are coming to take away their rights.
Yeah, I feel like once you introduce a gun, it suddenly becomes not a children's book.
No, it's not.
That's not a children's book.
Could you imagine if you had your kid came home and was like, what'd you learn about today? It's like how the Second Amendment right is all we have to defend against tyranny. It's like, what?
Well, they have like those, especially just in like 80s, 90s, even like early that Static Shock has shit like that. It would be like the special episodes of like children's shows where it's like, you know what I mean? Like the Cosby Show would have like an episode about like gun violence or like molestation or some shit. You'd be like, this is not
Yeah, this is a
normal.
little much. Well, it turns out they were hitting home with those episodes. It turns out Bill Cosby was looking into people's eyes. He's like, you guys better be watch out. Could be anybody. Could be this person you least suspect. He like winks his eye at the camera.
Yeah, but there's also like no pro-gun children's book because, like, what's the best case scenario of you having a gun? Is that you shot someone who was trying to either...
Yeah. I don't know if a 7-year-old needs to know like how to needs to have a firm take on gun control.
on
Like
gun
why
control.
does a 7-year-old? Well, I don't know if a 7-year-old also like 7-year-olds like they're just being like, what is death mean? They're trying to figure out the world. You don't need to be like, hey, so there's a lot of people trying to kill you, and it might be a good idea to buy a gun. Like, why would you want to put that in a little kid's head?
Yeah. So this is he describes it as a wholesome tale on gun control.
Oh, that's great. Is it like VeggieTales but with guns?
VeggieTales was weird, man. 'cause
VeggieTales
they
was
would
like
have,
Christian
some-
propaganda. But what if VeggieTales?
Did you used to watch VeggieTales?
No, but I've been to
They should show us VeggieTales because VeggieTales would have like kind of dark stories about like there's some dark shit in Christianity.
Yeah, the
but they have,
Bible.
like,
The
little
Bible's
vegetable-
dark.
Yeah,
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
it's
really shouldn't be read by children.
yeah.
And then God was mad at everyone, so he drowned all of them.
God's
I mean, geez.
God asked him to bring his son up to the mountain and kill him, and
He did ask nice. I mean, it's just such a dark. Jesus loves you, and that's why he was brutally murdered.
yeah. I watched VeggieTales, but I don't really remember it that.
I just remember it was like, this is strange to have 2 cucumbers and then have some underlying propaganda about how we're all sinners. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, it must have not worked that well because I think we all watch VeggieTales. And
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, I'm still going to hell, so I don't know what's going on.
So this book opens, starts by describing the family. Their last name is Strong, so they're the Strong family. Very,
Okay.
Of course, they are.
Very creative.
very subtle.
There we go.
Strong middle name, Western civilization or something.
Yeah.
So there's the dad, Richard Strong, which you could also shorten that to Dick Strong, which is not very.
Yeah, not great. Not already given like kids just a fucking hall pass for jokes reading this book. If I was like 8 years old, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call this guy Dick Strong. I'm like a comedic genius in the grade. I will immediately soon become more popular than the kid who can run fastest.
Yeah, any chance of the child paying attention to the story goes out the window when you name your
When you
character.
can name the main character Dick Strong. It's also how much of like a testosterone filled book. It's like in the dad's name, essentially Dick Strong, and he owns a gun. Like I don't know.
Dad, Dick Strong, Richard Strong. There's the mom, and then the 13-year-old daughter, Brianna Strong.
What's the mom's name?
Bay. How do you say that name? That's Bea.
I've never even heard
B?
of that name.
But yeah, is that a name?
Yeah, you're
B?
like, how do
I
we
think
say
it's B.
that one? I was like, I've never fucking heard of that.
It's like
B-
it's like an
like be strong.
The
I think it's supposed to be
silent?
like be strong. Like you're supposed to like it's telling you to be strong. I don't know. I'm fucking. That's like I think it's like a non-subtle like be strong thing.
None of the book is subtle. It's three white people on the side of the book, and they're all named Strong. Mom says be strong. Okay, it's not subtle at all. You might as well have just named the title of the book "They're Coming" and just buy
That's true.
like
The title might just be like my parents open carry and they just showed 3 Mexican people on the front cover.
yeah. It's actually I didn't expect to see a black dad and a Filipino woman on the title. You know, I didn't expect that to go down.
So it says they live in a modest home in a medium-sized town in the middle of America. So maybe the most average family
That's ever existed.
yeah.
This guy's like zero creativity. He lives in every town. He lives in any town, white USA. He's just like you, the you that we like. It's like when they say, you're average American. You know what we mean. It's like on Fox News. You're average American.
That is like the crazy.
Who doesn't roll his R's and play his music really loud,
So like there's so many like coded terms
Yeah.
that like white America like uses that is like it's like so obvious like what they mean.
Right. Even with like urban. Like when the hell did that become?
Urban is fucking crazy. What is urban?
Yeah.
Is even the
And
even like the
people
nice
who love
term is
spicy
racist.
food category coming up.
Even the nice term is racist to be like urban. Well, really, we mean like people who live in cities and who lives in cities, but black people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
It's like, even the good term
Yeah.
is like a
It's
shit.
just
Like
a
they're
weird
attempting-
way to be.
Do they still have the urban
Urban
category?
still
Yeah,
is.
Grammys.
Even in
But
comedy,
white
they're
people
all-
get like fucking industrial music and fucking alternative rock and like all this kind of shit and bluegrass and all this bullshit.
Well, no, the average American.
The average American.
Average American. That's
What do they call it? The silent majority? Or
yeah. That's what they. Yeah, that's another one they use.
That is such a crazy. It's like why are they silent?
Yeah.
What is it they wanna
What do you
say?
want to say that for some reason you feel the need to bite your tongue about?
why would you feel the need to be
And
silent?
then write
about it?
like weird children's books. You're like,
Yeah. I can't believe they still have urban and they haven't gotten rid of that.
I mean, that's why I remember the day when Barack Obama got elected, and we all cried like, "Oh, the first urban president."
Did the people say that?
No one said that. You fucking kidding me?
No one said
But just
urban.
how insane would that have been?
But it's like people like dance around raising like there's like contemporary music, which is like like fucking Elton John, like old white people hits. But then they have urban contemporary. So they're literally like so you're just saying like this, but black people like that's like what are you
To
talking
be fair,
about?
I think that would be just a better category as this, but black people.
Yes, but like
I could see a music producer's having to say that 10 times a day, where he's like, "This is good," but like black people, if you could just have black people,
get some black people in
then
here.
it would actually
That'd be
sound
really
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So they live in the middle of America. So Brianna's mom wakes her up to run some errands, like going grocery shopping.
Can you share the book? I want to see this the book.
It's just writing. I'll show you some of the illustrations when they come up. But there's a
Yeah,
lot
'cause
of
I thought-
it's like majority writing, which is I think really bad for like kids.
For
books.
children.
Majority writing?
Yeah.
How long is the book? Is it like 10 pages, 20 pages?
Probably 30 pages or so.
Oh, okay.
30 pages?
Yeah.
For a children's book, that's like kind of a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought,
like
I thought they'd all be like
6-year-olds,
5, but it's also like I guess you need some nuance in the book about guns. You can't exactly just be like, pick it up, point it at the not so average American. The only illustration is just like racist. It's gonna be like Breitbart articles.
Yeah, the opening action of the book is Brianna's mom waking her up to go run errands. Pretty compelling so far for a children's book.
Well, yeah, because if she had a gun, she wouldn't have to wake up so early. She had a gun, she could sleep the fuck in. So that's a point for Brianna getting the gun right there.
If you bought your kid a gun, would you be scared to ever tell them what to do?
It'd be fucking terrifying.
I'd be scared. I'd be scared to look myself in the mirror because I brought my kid a gun. I feel like that'd be the hardest part. Be like, why'd I do that? Why'd I give my 12-year-old a firearm?
You're like walking on eggshell. You fucking because you don't know, man. You yell at him one day, and now he fucking goes in his room, and you hear a bang. You're like, well, that's my fault. I did that.
You're like,
You know,
okay,
what do you?
You have to like tell like your other kids like, listen, I know you're tired of eating ice cream for dinner the 5th day in a row, but he's armed, and I don't know where he has it. And let's just strawberries is flavor plate. Let's just get through this other bowl of ice cream. My goal is I'm trying to drug him. I put Xanax in the ice cream. We just get him to pass out.
But so yeah, mom wakes her up to run some errands, and her dad tells her that they're going to go somewhere special after the errands, and it's a surprise, and it's Brianna's reward for getting straight A's in school this year.
If you say they take her to buy a fucking, it's like they take her to buy a fucking gun.
Brianna's 13
Get the
too.
gift of murder.
Brianna's 13. She probably wants a fucking iPhone. Or
Yeah.
something. Getting a goddamn,
Take her to
goddamn pistol.
take her to a water park or something.
I feel if you're 13 years old and you had a gun, you'd get some.
You have to be 16 to like use Twitter.
Yeah, supposedly.
Motherfucker can handle a pistol.
I feel like you'd get good Instagram likes though if you pose with your gun as like
Yeah,
a
it would go
10-year-old.
pretty viral. I imagine. I imagine the police would be checking it out at a certain point.
I bet.
I don't even know what my brain would do at like 13. I don't know. I think I was in middle school. If I saw like another middle schooler, just like, oh, on Facebook, he just posted a photo of himself. Like, I'd be like, well, I think I should tell someone about this. I don't think this is just joking around.
No, I feel like other kids would envy you if you had a gun.
I don't know if they'd envy me. I think they'd be a little scared.
So, yeah, her reward for getting straight A's in school, Brianna asked what the surprise was, but the dad wouldn't tell her. I think we can all assume what the surprise is going to be.
I mean, that is kind of cool to get as a gift for like 13.
Would it be kind of cool?
I feel like as a 13-year-old,
I said that is kind of cool, bro. If you're 13, bro, you're like, bro, I got a pistol like that. I'd be like, this is cool as fuck. It's cool as fuck. I mean, I'd probably get it taken away because I'd probably bring it to school like the next day to show everybody. But
I mean,
yeah,
what
it's cool
13-year-old wouldn't bring a gun to school to show it off?
You know what I'm saying? We used to like shoplift condoms from CVS and like show those off. Like a fucking gun? Like that would be.
You like try to impress a girl. You're like she's like standing in the back of the lunch line. You're like, I can get you to the front of the line real quick. And you like pull out the gun. It's like a magic wand. My dad got me this metal magic wand that just makes adults do whatever I say.
Yeah. So they finish up their breakfast, and it says the parents retrieved their handguns from the locked gun safe and placed their handguns in
Also, where do you live? Fucking, you live in the middle of like a Serbian civil war? Why the fuck are you like, well, we gotta go out for breakfast. Everyone grab your weapons.
The most like middle America, like everyone you see is just like, what
Yeah, you live in a town of like 5,000 and you grew up with everybody. Like what kind of bullshit is...
If you know who's dangerous, you probably know him by name.
Yeah, it's like, hey, just watch out for Jeff. Just watch out for Jeff today.
Yeah, so the parents strap up before heading out to go to the grocery store.
What's about to go down to the grocery store? I like how now, like, we feel like it's so like intense to wear a mask to the grocery store. The same people that don't want to wear masks do carry guns to the grocery store.
Think they can have an AR-15, just like...
Yeah. Like, what shit do you expect to pop off at, like, Jewel Osco?
Yeah. So they place their handguns in their holsters in plain sight on their hips, and they tell Brianna before going out, they probably tell Brianna this every morning. They say, a person that doesn't take on responsibility for their own safety is not being true to nature's law. Everyone has the right and responsibility to protect themselves from harm. Brianna thought it was strange that so many people don't understand this very simple truth.
That the white man is the one and only.
Brianna at 13, like, already understands this. Also, what is like the right and responsibility to protect? As if most people are like, I don't like the responsibility to protect yourself.
It's also not really. I do pay taxes for a reason. I'm hoping that the police or somebody would protect me. You know, I hopefully there's like a society I live in that'll help me out a little bit.
But it's great. A lot of the arguments I've seen people like be like. Because, you know, I'm with the whole, like, defund the police thing. And the arguments against that, people are like, well, then we're always going to have to strap up with guns. I'm like, no, but the reason I don't want them to have guns, because they're just people. You're just fucking people. I don't want just random motherfuckers walking around with.
Right.
I went and got food last night, and cop comes in and, like, gets fish. It's just surreal when you see a cop and motherfucker has, like, a baton and, like, microphone, all this stuff, and, like, a pistol, and he's just, like, getting a fish sandwich, and I'm like, you're just you're just a person. You're like the dude behind me in line right now, if he had the power to, like, arrest me, I'd be like, that's fucking crazy.
Well, he does. You know everyone has the power to arrest everyone
citizens
else.
Arrest.
Yeah.
Who's actually ever done? Has there ever been like a Karen or something that like forces someone
to do it? What are you talking about? They hold Ahmaud Arbery. They fucking shot him in the street. Because they were trying to do
that's just like a murder. Is that they just?
Well, according to them, they were trying to do like a citizen's arrest. And
I didn't even realize that. Oh, you're talking about when those two dudes like literally murdered a man?
Yeah, because that's what they said they were trying to do. And his whole thing, like a normal person, he was like, "No, I'm not gonna let you fucking do that." Because I don't know.
I mean, because if you had any sense ever, and you're running, and two strange rednecks come up and be like, "Come with me," and you're like, "Well, I think every cell in my body has informed me that no should be the response to this moment."
I'm gonna tell you what the fuck I'm not about to do. That's getting your redneck ass car and just drive where you want.
Well, it just seems like ever since I came onto this earth, everyone I met was like, "Hey, avoid this situation right here."
You know what I'm saying?
God.
It says as the family climbs into the car, their next door neighbor sees them, waves good morning, and says, "I see you both are packing as usual. Good for you. You just never know when you might need to protect yourselves and loved ones."
Also, again, any town in USA, the crime rate's been dropping for like 20 years. It's like, What do you mean you just never like? Is there just roving gangs of militias attacking people? It's like, what is going on where you live? Because most of these people they want to live like a James Bond fantasy where like someone attacks them in a restaurant.
Like,
they
dog,
shoot,
like you're not fucking John Wick. Like
they just shoot him in the head, and then his wife's like, "Thank God for you, honey," and he's like, "It's all in a day's work," and he like blows the smoke off.
So the neighbor, congratulates them for open carrying.
This literally sounds like some sort of conservative wet dream. Like you wake up, you walk outside, someone's like, "Thank God for another gun carrying Christian is in this country," and you're like, "God damn right."
Never been saved by it. I never felt saved by it because someone just had a gun.
No, I've never. You ever thought that like a guy?
Because that person's gonna do some shit. Are you in a situation or a place where it's dangerous enough that people need to just have guns?
So then, on their way to the store, they pass by a woman and child, and surprisingly to them, the woman and child recoil in fear
of the murder weapon, of the weapon invented to murder people.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the same with like if I carry a dildo on me at all times, and I'm like, I have the right to satisfy myself, the thing I possess. And people are like, well, why are you carrying a dildo at Walmart? It's like, it's my God-given right. If someone can't satisfy me, then I can satisfy. And you're like, but you're clearly going to use the dildo. You have you're probably going to use it. You got to
use it on someone. I don't think it's for self-protection. I think you want to use it.
People don't just have shit for no reason.
People say it specifically with guns, though. Like, would you be comfortable with someone just openly carrying a knife?
Yeah.
Like, if I just have like an open knife.
What if I just had?
That would be weird,
I walked
right?
into a 7-Eleven with a machete. Right? And I was like, I'm just trying to be safe. What if I brandish like a samurai sword on the way at the mall? It was
I just like kitchen knife. I walk around with like a belt full of like kitchen knives.
You never know when shit can break out. I just have like nunchucks on my side.
But no, that's kind of a similar logic that this guy uses in the book. So that they go up to that person recoiling in fear and they ask her what's wrong. And of course,
like get the fuck away from me.
And the person just throws their wallet at the.
And
if I saw someone like walking down like an open camera, I would probably like immediately start recording because at the very least, like you might kill me, but your name is going viral. At the very least, I got to get my. It's weird that's like for Black Americans, that's like your best bet now is that just the white person. No, I'm saying that's your best sense of justice is that the white person who kills you goes viral. That's like your best. That's like the best thing that can happen to you, Justice.
No charges were pressed, but everyone knows the guy's name. So
you know what I'm saying?
We're calling it an even.
My best bet is that your family like gets death threats. Like that's like the best thing.
Yeah. So the woman recoiling, of course, she says, the guns are the thing that's wrong, and Brianna's dad says that, well, yeah, guns can be dangerous and should be handled with care, but they're just tools like cars.
Tools used to. I feel like they always put. It's like, well, it's just a tool. It's like, but tool to do what? To murder someone. It's like, well, it's
you don't screw shit with.
It just goes. I feel like the sex toy is like the best. Like if you walked into my house and you just saw a bunch of like dildos and various
anal beads,
like
and
dick plugs, and I'm like, well, these are just tools. Don't get weird about these. Are just they have no. It's like.
Or if you had that lobotomy drill and you were just carrying that around, like, yeah, that's a tool.
We gotta be so fucking weird.
Walking to Walmart with just fucking surgical equipment. Like, I just carry this just in case I might need it.
But the dad says guns can be dangerous, but they're just tools like cars, chainsaws, and many other things that people use every day to make their lives better. Interesting argument, because I don't know if an open carry chainsaw would be.
It would really catch on.
Or if people would not be scared of that as well, even though it's a tool.
It's also like, it's just a thing we use to make our lives better. It's like if you use the gun, you're gonna make someone's life not a thing. Make lives better. You're gonna make lives gone.
So excited to kill someone. That's like, it's not like a fun thing. Like that would traumatize.
It's.
There's been like cases of people like stop a shooting or they kill someone to defend themselves. Like that shit fucks you up. That's not, you think soldiers like come, it's got PTSD. Like that's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's
right. It's not like your dad's just gonna be like shoot the gun and he's like, well, I'm glad I had my tool on me, and then go back to like shopping at Walmart. He's like, oh god, never leave home without it.
Best case, your day is like ruined. You're gonna
day
go
is
home.
I would hope more than your day. I hope you're not like waking up and you're like, Oh, so Wednesday was crazy.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not.
You don't go back to the office.
Stop
and
the
be like,
mass shooting. And no, best case, you got to like fill out a police report and you go home and kind of cry over the fact you took a human life, and then you you just wake up the next day like, all right, I gotta go, finish those groceries.
Yeah.
Forgot tomatoes. Shit.
Damn it. Oh man, I was all over the place, kind of like that dude's brains. It was just absurd.
Yeah. And then he says guns save far more lives than they take.
I think that's statistically not true. I think you can prove. I think there's a chart somewhere that proves that that's not true.
Is any of this book so far persuading you to own a gun?
I mean, these two crazy people are about to buy their child a firearm, and they're trying to calm down two people in the public who they've scared.
I meant to point out how insulting that is, by the way, that you're now literally just reading us children's books.
Yeah.
You're reading us a book that's meant for a fucking 7-year-old. Like, well, today I picked up. Wasn't that even a book about fucking washing your hands?
Yeah. Me and Kwame are like, that actually worked.
Come back and you're like, I'm not gonna lie. I actually did notice like I got sick like a lot less.
I noticed that when I see Spot, he does go. Like I just noticed that.
Yeah. None of the arguments are hitting.
The only argument, again, if you lived in like an area where there's a lot of crime, and then you're like, well, it's true. Like maybe the police won't make it in time, then I could see owning a gun. But I wouldn't see carrying it everywhere.
I still feel introducing a gun into a situation where the other person has a gun, I still feel more lives are going to be lost.
It's dangerous. It's like the knife. That's why you're not supposed to get a knife, because motherfuckers like if you get in a knife fight, like you're supposed to get stabbed up.
I don't know. It sometimes it could just be like a thing where it's like you want to. I don't know. Like in El Salvador, they have like armed guards. There's like people are like, yeah,
but even that's like an armed guard, bro. Like also that's a country that's known for its violence.
Right.
It's known because people have guns. They kill each other.
That's because it's like there's a lot of a lot of poverty.
Again, that just proves a thing. You want to get a gun. Don't get a gun. But use that money for a gun and try to fund some shit so your neighborhoods, so people from the next neighborhood over aren't coming to rob you guys.
Right, but like in terms of actions I can do this Thursday to protect my life, like
I'm saying that those people who like love guns,
they
generally don't give a fuck about most people.
Oh,
so
they
it's
generally
like, it's
don't.
always going to be bad.
What do you feel about the situation? So there's a lot of stores near where I live that were robbed during the protests. Or not robbed, but just like looted or whatever.
Looted and shit.
And so those store owners got guns and then sat outside their stores.
That's probably a smart thing to do.
You think that's a thing?
You're probably not even gonna have to use it. I mean, you probably wouldn't even really need a gun. 'Cause it's not like most people are gonna like just mob and kill a store owner. Like if you just stood outside your store with like a stick and you're like, "It's my store. You're not coming in here." People probably aren't gonna do shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe with a stick, I feel like a stick they'd probably.
But I feel like most people, it's just a thing if they see you just standing there and like, no, I'm good. Because there was even shit where I saw pictures from fucking somewhere in Michigan, but it was like people would just spray paint and be like, oh, this is a black-owned business, or just put up a sign that says like Black Lives Matter outside the window, and motherfuckers wouldn't target the store.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like if you just stood out there with a stick, you don't need a gun. It's not like how many of those store owners did you hear a story of like, they had to kill somebody to stop them getting in the store?
But is that even a worthy trade-off? The potential to kill someone versus having your store? I mean,
some of those stores are like their whole lot. Like they might not have enough money to like repair the stuff. It's like, oh, this is like my livelihood.
Would you
like if you destroy the store?
Would you make that trade-off? Potentially having to kill someone to protect your store or whatever?
I mean, okay.
Yeah, I guess the question is like, so you have $100,000 in your bank account right now. Would you rather that disappears, you just got to start from scratch, or like someone dies?
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Maybe you do need a gun. God damn.
I feel like that answer just fast-tracked you on the gun application. Like,
yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. That's what when they ask you the reason
what are
why,
you
you
gonna
just
do?
put that down.
You gotta do what you gotta do. I'm just gonna say, I'll have all the coded like. Well, I'm just an average American who's got to do what he's got to do, and I'm just afraid because I live in an urban area.
And your name here, Adam Chick. Now, is that Latin or is that European?
That's not Jewish, right? You're like, no, sirree.
yeah. And then they finally get to the grocery store. And in the grocery,
I forgot they've been on the way to the grocery store this time. they've been driving
really, a lot has happened. Someone has congratulated them for being like virtuous soldiers, and someone has cried at them on the way to the grocery store. Really emotional trip.
yeah. I feel like you wouldn't want to open carry just to avoid all this. Like,
Yeah, it sounds like a lot.
yeah, it's
like
just
I don't
let
even
me
like
do my
wearing,
errands.
I don't even like wearing like shirts with a sports team. It's like
You know
I
what
don't
I'm saying?
like.
I don't even want motherfuckers to talk to me while I'm out just doing
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
I want strangers to come.
Same with like you wear a
Oh.
shirt with a sports team. They're like, hey, do you like? And you're like, no, none of that.
Yeah.
No, it's a shirt.
And I feel a gun on your hip is like a conversation piece for all the people you don't want to.
You got to talk about it. You got to if you got to talk about it.
Yeah, like you can't.
Hey, is that,
that like
are those Levi's 750s?
also, there's a lot of places. There's a lot of places where like you can't come in if you have a gun. So it's like that like bars like a lot
Yeah.
of. I guess you're not going to like most bars. You're not going to like a nightclub. You're not going to like a movie theater. Like where you really like limit yourself on like where you can go.
Yeah, I don't own a gun, so I've never.
safe.
I think most grocery stores wouldn't even let you open carry. Like, most grocery stores are like, you're not coming in here.
Who's gonna stop you though, Kwame? That's the question. You think the security guards gonna say don't come in here? But yeah. So while they're in the grocery store, an army veteran comes up to them and thanks them for exercising their Second Amendment right.
Okay, like what is with the thanking? Because it's not like they've done any. They've brought a gun and they're putting it on their jeans. It's like they haven't performed this. Why is the Navy veteran thanking this random person? I don't understand.
That's actually pretty shit to like
Why is the
accept,
veteran
to, like,
being
accept
like,
the
hey,
thanks from like
yeah.
someone whose legs are missing and like to accept that and be like, I am a hero.
Yeah,
I did
thanks.
too.
Yeah, no,
I
yeah.
did do.
I brought a holster, so
I'm trying
it's
to do my
about
part.
damn
yeah.
time. They're about to act like he's on his way to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Yeah, he thanks them for exercising their Second Amendment right, and then he repeats the Second Amendment to them about being a well-regulated militia,
That
being
is so
necessary.
insane.
Who the fuck like memorizes the Second Amendment?
If I saw this at a grocery store, I would leave the grocery store. If I saw two people walk up with guns and then someone verbatim recites the Second Amendment, I'd be like, you know what? I don't need Doritos that bad. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah, and then
That's funny too. You got a gun and you're trying to protect yourself just so you can go into Mariano's and get like Cheez-Its. You protect yourself. I can safely just buy different types of processed corn to put into my fucking body.
what are they worried that someone's gonna steal their Doritos after
Yeah,
they
it's like,
leave
what
the
are
store
you?
too?
Unless you're going to the grocery store to
Yeah, and then so Brianna doesn't really know what a militia is because she's 13 years old.
Because she's normal.
I love how they haven't mentioned that a lot. And Brianna doesn't know what to make of this because she's 13.
So the army veteran then describes what a militia is to her.
Militia is a bunch of like-minded American citizens who would like this country to reflect what it's founded on.
So he talks for a long time in this children's book about the militia making sure
Also,
that
this is not really like children language. Like I can't imagine this.
You said you was. Have we gotten to the pictures yet? Is this just all words? Is there any illustrations?
I can't imagine reading this out
pages of
loud.
words.
And then everyone thanked them for practicing their Second Amendment rights. And then they recited the second, and they have like a song, and they all pull out like paper guns.
This is a good children's book because if you just want your 6-year-old to like shut the fuck up and go to sleep, just start reading this shit. When
Right,
you get to
just
like page 4 of just. When you get to page 4 of just reciting the Second Amendment, we knocked out cold.
Yeah. So he makes a definition of militia, one that, everyone's a part of. So the Second Amendment applies to all of us, not just like the actual army militia. And so Brianna's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then he starts complaining about some Supreme Court cases.
They don't seem in like a rush to get these groceries at all. They have time for everyone to weigh in, and then they start talking about the Supreme Court. It's like, are you hungry? Did you need?
I mean, if I was to open carry, that's pretty much what I would use it for. If like people started talking to me, I would be like, this is getting long in the tooth, and I'd start looking at my gun a little bit.
You start feeling it up, and you're like, this is a special type of holster where I can pull it out in under 20 seconds. Most time, the human mind doesn't even register what's happening by the time I pull the trigger. Anyway, That's for getting on my way.
Like, I feel like that would be the only reason to open carry would to dissuade conversations.
The only reason you'd open carry is to stop people.
So you don't
from
gotta
talking.
fucking talk to people.
But it seems like in this book, it just makes people want to talk to you even more. So there goes that. Maybe if you want to.
So you would buy a gun just to avoid conversations with people.
Yeah.
What are you trying to protect yourself from? You're like small talk, family small talk. How's the weather? All that shit. Not letting it come near me or my family. Not for 1 second.
Yeah. They finally leave the grocery store. I think all they bought was some canned spinach there or something. And then they go.
God forbid some fucking some soulless degenerate tries to mob them for that. They'll get what's coming to them. They want to try to take away their precious canned spinach. I can't think of anything like less appetizing.
Yeah. So then they go to the bookstore. Their final errand to run. Also, this story is a really boring story, I feel, for kids.
Yeah, there's not even. I thought that the second, and it's like, and then a scary robber came, or so. It's just like they're
literally running errands, and I don't think any kid's gonna be like, can we read that errand book again like that? And at the bookstore, a man comes up to talk about, how he doesn't open carry, but he.
Right. I thought he was gonna get some action. I thought it was gonna be like a man tries to rob him.
Yeah.
Another man wants to have a conversation about
wants to duel because he challenges Papa's on it and across the street from one another.
But he talks about how he likes to conceal carry instead of open carry
because they never see him coming. You know what I mean?
And then the parents say they sometimes conceal carry as well, and they say it's lovely to have the option to do either. Why?
If you could conceal carry, why even put? So because that's just in your face. Because that's almost like being like, hey,
why would you need to switch back and forth?
They say sometimes. This is from the book. In the summer, they wear lighter clothes, and so that's when you open carry. So because you don't have like jackets and stuff. It's kind of like a fashion thing. I think it's a little bit.
Yeah, you want your gun holster to match your
gun
shoes,
chic.
and yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the mood too, where if you want a conversation with someone or not, you open or conceal. The man said that he didn't open carry because he felt he would be the first person shot if something bad like a bank robbery went down, and he started shooting at the bank robbers. And the dad.
That's happened.
I love how they all.
That's a legitimate fear.
Yeah, but it's also like people that open carry all think like, well, if someone walked in, I'd obviously start shooting. It's like they all think they're like trained action heroes. You know what I mean? It's like, and then some shit goes down. Of course, he tried to kill me because I'm a Navy SEAL essentially.
I don't think it was. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he was trying to say that he's afraid that. Was he saying he'd be shot like if he started shooting at someone?
No, if he just was open carrying.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And
I was wrong.
that
dad, probably would happen. They probably would shoot you, but let me get you out of the way first.
Yeah, that's a yeah. First yeah. To be fair, if I was robbing a bank, it's like, well, we can't have that. We can't just have a dude with a gun on us. Can't have that about.
Yeah, and the dad, just laughed at him and he said, "That's silly. That's just a myth portrayed in TVs or movies."
That people get shot? What's the myth?
I love how he's like, hey, that fear is irrelevant, but you should be afraid of everyone around you at all times. Like, dude, no one's going to rob a bank and shoot you, but everyone's trying to kill you, so you should wear your gun on your head.
Yeah, so this is the illustration of this page where they're, talking to the guy.
What's that just a bad? He didn't even color it in.
It's like so awful.
This is a bookstore? Can you imagine trying to read this to your kid?
Yeah. And I think this guy probably does have some concerns about
this actually looks like a militia meeting with them just sitting down with the guns on their hip. Looks like he's telling her, listen, the federal government doesn't have the firepower to shut us down. We could easily overtake the supply chains in the round towns.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of words for like, is there more words on that page?
This is
like a children's book. That's like a good
It's mostly words. It's mostly words.
It's also, if you zoom in on the guy with the crossed, zoom in with the... Yeah, I feel like that's my reaction to any sort of gun, or is just that like look right there of just the arms crossed, and you're like, yeah, I don't know about that.
Plus, he is a black dude.
I was about to say, is he black? Is that no?
Yeah, I'm sure he is concerned.
He's like, yeah, I'm not gonna fucking open carry. I thought that's what he was trying to say. I thought he was trying to say like he would be the first person shot if he shot like somebody who was like doing a mass shooting. The police would come in and shoot him first.
Yeah,
I was like, you should be worried about that shit.
Yeah, I'm sure he does have concerns about open carrying because,
That's just Dad is like, well, that's just a myth.
yeah,
Nope.
yeah, racism, that's a myth too. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah, the police only exist in folktales. It's not real.
So to illustrate, and then he says also, instead of conceal and carry, when you open carry, it also stops any crimes that might happen around you because they see you have that gun and they won't commit a crime.
Can you imagine, like, hey, so I was gonna mug this old lady, and then I saw a 40-year-old man with a carry-on. I thought, well, I don't have what it takes anymore. I thought, well, there goes that.
And what's the crime? Like, are they gonna rob you? Obviously not. You obviously have a gun on you. But is it like, oh, I was gonna light up a joint, but then I saw your gun carrying ass. I was like, let me wait till I get home.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like most people open carry by the time they have reached around their gut to pull the gun, what's happened is happened. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you would probably pull a muscle actually having to move your body that quick. Like you'll more likely have a stroke and kill yourself than defend yourself with that gun. You know what's more likely to kill your family? Fucking cholesterol and
Probably
cancer and diabetes. It's like, why don't you watch out for that? Okay, that's gonna fucking take your, the food you're feeding your daughter is gonna take her out a lot more.
Well, this was his story about preventing a crime. He said, one morning last summer, my friend and I were sitting in Woodruff's Waffle World on Main Street eating breakfast. As usual, I was open carrying my handgun. Being aware
As
of
usual, I was in Woodruff's Waffle World, open carrying my handgun. Can you imagine just starting a sentence with that? Well, as usual, I was in Wilson's Waffle World, open carrying my handgun, talking about how we need to bring Jesus back into schools, and then you will never believe what happened.
His story is going to be like he was walking in his neighborhood and he saw a Mexican guy and he was like, well, that's not supposed to be here. And he shot him and he's like, I prevented a crime from happening. I saved somebody's life.
He says he noticed a man come into the restaurant and look around like he was looking for somebody. He seemed a bit suspicious.
Oh, like, I don't know, like a waiter?
Yeah.
like what you do, or like a table to sit down in your fucking restaurant.
So he kept an eye on him. The man looked at me, glanced down at my gun, and quickly left. We left Waffle World. And then later that night on the news, I heard that the local police had stopped two men in a vehicle behind the restaurant. The man admitted to planning a robbery that very morning. I believe the customer saw me and did not rob the Waffle World.
How is that? First off, he just said that you connected two stories that aren't connected.
Well, he said that basically that in this hypothetical story that the guy that he saw got arrested behind. First off, how much money were you going to make robbing?
He said he didn't see him get arrested.
Why don't you just ask your friend to borrow $60?
Does that happen? Police stop you and you admit to a crime that you did.
Yeah, that's never happened.
That doesn't happen.
Hey, what are you going to?
You were going to commit
license your registration. You're like, I was going to kill him. I was going to kill him. All right, let me just come out and say it. I'm tired of us beating around the bush.
I don't even know if that is a crime.
That sounds like some police brutality shit. Is they arrested him
it's
and then
conspiracy.
falsely charged this man with planning to rob a store.
It's conspiracy technically if you
To plan to rob a thing, is that illegal? Even if you don't do it?
Yeah. Yeah, if me and you were planned to rob a bank, we had detailed plans, and then someone, Maddie, snitched on us. You know what I'm saying? We could get arrested for conspiracy, oh, you're planning to rob a thing.
Well, that's just
Be
ridiculous.
less time, but yeah.
Yeah, we can have
ridiculous.
hypotheticals. You can't just plan something out.
Yeah, I can't just have a thought exercise. with your friend.
Eminem has a 6-minute song about him murdering his fucking ex-wife, but I can't plan to rob a goddamn bank.
You can't just
Motherfucking go on stage and stab a mannequin 40 fucking times.
Plus, the dad probably plans almost every hour to kill someone. Why isn't he in jail? That's the only thought going through his mind every day.
Yeah, seriously. Every time someone walks in, he's like, "Is this guy gonna be the one? Is this gonna be the one?" Probably
you would have to be hyped up all the time because you would never want it to be just a surprise that you got to use this shit, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be at Starbucks and you're like, "Hey, can I finish my coffee before you rob the place just so I'm fucking."
This guy's
not really feeling it today.
This guy's acting like when he's at Waffle House, he's like Tony Soprano having to constantly watch the
literally,
door
yeah.
because someone's coming in to shoot him or something. Like he's some
Also,
mafia boss.
Who's robbing the Waffle House? How much money would you make from robbing this waffle place? Just get a credit card.
This sort of convinced the guy to open carry, but then he says, what if someone comes and steals the gun right off my hip?
I mean, most people are also not John Wick, so they probably can't do that either.
It's like what people are they talking? It's like almost like they go to bed at night. And they think every other room is just full of like these evil, dastardly, almost like cartoon criminals that are coming to attack them at every.
Yeah, like why wouldn't the guy coming to steal a gun off your hip already have a gun if he's willing to do that? Like I feel like I don't know.
You don't work in like a bank vault. Like what are you around that's so valuable that someone's like, yeah, I'll fucking put my life on the line to get $60.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, he buys canned spinach from a grocery store. I don't think anyone.
I mean, why don't you use your gun? Why don't you rob something? It sounds like you would get some better food for your daughter.
Yeah.
She got all straight A's. You're feeding her canned spinach. Fuck's sake.
So he says, that wouldn't happen because I stay aware of my surroundings. Everyone should be aware of their surroundings at all times. Crime and evil can happen anywhere at any time. History shows
you have to
that.
live in
But
a
it's
state of
unfathomable
constant
that
fear.
someone could steal your gun from you. Crime and evil happen anytime, and I'm a hero that can stop it. But someone can take it from me? No, that's crazy.
He says he's just constantly aware. Like he's always.
Wouldn't that be
You're
like
not
hell
the-
on earth? Like you're just like your friend, your friend bumps into you at the store. You pull your gun. You're like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were about to murder me. I live in a headspace where I think literally everyone that comes into my vicinity is about to take my life.
Yeah.
I apologize.
I feel like getting a gun puts you in that mind space though.
It has to. Like it makes you like more amped up.
Like I don't have a gun, and I don't think those thoughts like 99% of my day. Maybe
Yeah, ever. Yeah. Maybe if I'm like a.
I've never actually been in a situation where I've been like, oh, I could have really used a gun right there.
I've been in a situation. But even then, it's like I didn't want a gun. Like I got robbed like my first like month in Chicago, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
Like,
Would you
I
have
would've
wanted
had
a gun? No.
No.
Yeah, because you would have had to like shoot those people. Or
They
would've been
reacted
so
crazy
scared.
because they thought I had a gun. They were going through my book bag and they saw my jacket in there, and he was like, "You do have a gun on you," and I was like, "I don't have a gun." Before you do something, that's not pull the jacket. It's not a gun. And he was like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "So what if I did have a gun? Now they have a gun." That's
Yeah.
the situation.
And the dad says to increase Brianna's awareness, the dad sneaks up on her to catch her off guard. And if she catches him doing that, she has to do the dishes that night. If she doesn't catch him,
So she's growing up in a militia.
That's how you like give your kid anxiety.
This sounds like something that the daughter would tell like the lady in social services, where it's like he was testing me at all times for the upcoming war, and anytime
That's
I
like
didn't notice him coming, I had to wake
Sneaking
I
up
could
on her
only
around
sleep.
That's like some shit I do when I'm like bored. I want to fuck with my dog. Not like something I do to like my daughter like every hour in the house.
Yeah, it's when you're 12, maybe you shouldn't be like trained to be a Navy SEAL. Maybe in your own house you should feel comfortable enough that you shouldn't think everyone is literally trying to murder you all the time.
yeah. So after that conversation, it's time for Brianna's surprise, and they take her to a gun range. She, of course, has been there many times, but they surprise her with her
Birthdays,
own.
Christmas, funerals, holidays.
Yeah, and there they surprise her with her own handgun, which I guess is the culmination of this open carry adventure.
It's not an adventure.
They went to the grocery store and then a gun range. It's not.
I feel
This is like every day.
I feel like if you live in the Midwest, going to
That
the
is an
grocery
adventure.
store and talking to some people is
That's about as exciting as it gets.
yeah,
That's like Disney World.
that's your adventure.
Yeah, that's like I had an adventure. Yeah, I went and talked to some other great average Americans and we shot some guns. It was a wild and dastardly tale.
Yeah, so that's the end of the children's book.
So would you ever get a gun?
Me? No.
Yeah. What if your girlfriend wanted to get a gun? Would that make you uncomfortable?
I mean, she wouldn't get a gun. It wouldn't make me uncomfortable.
If she had one in the house.
If she started open carrying everywhere and like just open and was open carrying like in the apartment as well.
That'd be a real power move though. The open carry in the apartment. She's just holding. She's like picking what to watch on Netflix. And you're like, okay, we're watching Golden Girls. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Right. I wonder if that's the thing. If there's any couples where it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, where it's like one person open carries and one person doesn't. And how do they deal with that? You want to go get food and this bitch walking around with a fucking AK-47 on it at McDonald's.
I just feel like you never really like introduced me to your friends. It's like, yeah, they're terrified of you. You're holding a gun.
You guys about to walk into the club and they're like, no way. So, oh, my bad. It's just to go put her AK in the car real quick.
Yeah.
So you can come back out and you can have a night.
Yeah, like we're holding hands down the street, and I have to like make sure to be on the side where the gun's not and stuff. It's just like a lot of.
I don't know. I mean, I thought about getting one when I came back to Chicago. I'm not going to say I'll never get one in my life. I'll never be like an
Are you
open carry
really
person.
going to get a gun?
I don't know. Now, what? Never in your life? You want to say never in your life?
I've seen you get like riled up at like somebody who has like pink hair, bro. So I don't really know if you should just be walking down the street with like a pistol. I don't fucking time.
I mean, I think I just think if you posted on Reddit more than twice a day, you're not allowed to buy a gun. I think that's just a fair rule. You know what I mean? Background check should just be something simple, like one question, like, did you go to prom? Like, we'll just boil it down. That would actually stop all gun violence.
Did you go to prom?
Country. No, I didn't go to prom, so I should know to go.
Me and my friends, we used our money. We bought tickets to Disney World. We went to me and two of my friends bought.
That's
tickets.
like that's actually way smarter. That's a way.
Yeah,
better
we didn't have money, so we didn't have dates, so we bought tickets to Disney World.
That's a great memory.
It was fun, good time.
I went to prom.
Of course you did.
It was fun, and then you saw pictures of people who like had women and shit, and you're like, all right, maybe Disney World shit was. It
would have been better to lose your virginity that night instead of going to Disney. Like going to Disney World was fun. It would have been a lot funner.
It's decent, but it wasn't like amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't as cool as feeling what a vagina feels like for the first time. How was that ride? Pretty fun. It's cool, yeah.
Yeah, you kind of tried to.
I got a blowjob in a tuxedo, but I'm glad that you had a fun time at Disney World.
You kind of tried to turn that into a brag until we thought about it a little more.
We're like, no, you're a loser.
I didn't turn it into a bag.
Wait, you went to Disney World?
I was just saying what.
Because you had to go to Disney World to have fun,
motherfucker.
And this guy just had to go in the back of his Camaro to have the time of his life.
He spent what? Maybe like $30 to get his brother to buy some liquor. Spent $200 to hang out with two men at Disney World all goddamn day.
Yeah, you're taking pictures with Mickey Mouse and stuff.
Everyone else is.
It's a good time. Go on rides and shit. The fuck Disney.
Yeah. I don't know what we want to do for the second part.
What do you want me to literally buy?
Yeah, because I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't have the money to just buy.
I don't have the money. I don't have the money either to just buy a gun either.
Can you rent guns? You can't rent a gun. No.
It's a horrible idea.
Anyone who needs a gun for a limited amount of time.
I just need to use it, and then I'm gonna scratch off the serial number and give it back to you.
No, apparently you can rent a gun. It says gunforhire.com. I just looked it up.
Is that a hitman?
You can rent a handgun.
A gun for hire is a hitman.
That's the name of the website. But no, this says gun rental. Oh, but they just changed it. This is Max and Shooter Supplies in the indoor range. I think it's in Illinois. They said gun rental. Gun rental section says, we are not currently renting out firearms to range reservations to lessen the risk of exposure for our customers and employees. Thank you for understanding.
Dang.
They meant you can rent a gun to shoot at a target range.
Oh, maybe that's what
at the range.
But if I want to do that, can I not just like walk out? Because it's like the employee, well, I guess he's behind the counter, but is that shit loaded? Like, I was like, I'm keeping this.
You don't even want to push those employees. A gun range store?
These are people that literally wait every day of their lives to shoot somebody. They literally wait every single day of their lives waiting to shoot somebody.
For someone to try some shit.
We're back this week. How'd it go, guys?
Well, we didn't get to shoot off any guns because there's no freedom in Chicago. Because freedom is dead. So they have shat on the Statue of Liberty's grave. Kwame tried to do it.
Yeah, it's actually a lot harder for all, like, you know, people, Democrats and stuff, tend to be like, oh, it's so easy to get guns. It's actually pretty hard to, like, even, like, shoot a gun, like, that you don't own. It's actually, like, hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard as fuck.
Imagine if you were a disenfranchised 16-year-old with some ideas. You know, we were just trying to shoot a gun for a podcast to make like fun content for you guys.
Yeah, you know, no one talks about that. With school shooters and shit like that, they do like they go through. It's effort. It's like you just pick one up, you just go for it. You know, you got it.
Right.
Well, maybe it was a mistake having Kwame do all this. Do you think if he was a 16-year-old white male, they would have?
Oh, they probably would have. Well, no, I didn't. I tried to. When I called them, they were cool. It wasn't like there was like a weird racial thing, but it's like, first of all, it's expensive. Second off, it's like weird rules to like the one place.
Are they weird rules or are they kind of sensible for if we're talking about?
There's these weird rules where like you couldn't be drunk and you had to have a driver's license. And I was like, listen, buddy, this is America.
So if we want to shoot guns, if we want to rent a gun, we got to have a firearm, a FOID card, or we have to come with somebody who has a FOID card. None of us have a gun on his license. So then
that's not weird so far. That's kind of
so far very sensible. So
the other way,
if you got to do it, you have to be a registered responsible member.
What happened in the honor system? Anyways, and then the other way is we could, the one place I found that's open right now during COVID, we would have to do a 2-hour training course from 4 to 6 p.m. And at the end of that, we would get to shoot. But it was like it was like an hour and a half away. People work. It's like you can call off work and be like, "No, sorry, I'm going to shoot some guns in Rockford, Illinois, for a couple hours." So.
Oh, wait, where's he going? Why is Shorts down so far too?
Guys, he's wearing like a football. He looks like a stepdad. He's wearing like swim trunks and a football jersey.
This is my quarantine wear, dude. It's laundry day and no one sees me, so I don't care anymore. I wear swim trunks inside now. That's just what it is.
He's like wearing like a football jersey, like a team that stopped existing in the 80s.
Yeah. Based off your level of dress, your relationship looks like it's already like 3 or 4 years into.
You're a little too comfortable. You should be trying a little bit. You shouldn't just be, caution thrown to the wind.
Yeah. An hour and a half away, you'd have to take a 2-hour class, and then at the end, they'd let you shoot a gun, which isn't even really worth it at that point, right?
Yeah.
You
might be just to get out the stress of waiting for 2 hours.
Yeah. Like, what happened to
just take it out on the instructor? Probably
just taking a gun and going off in the woods and shooting it. That's
what I'm saying. We should have just found somebody.
Real America, I guess.
Should have just found somebody who just had a gun.
I look up for the bar. It like pushed to a It's like, we didn't go to a gun range. You just went to some guy named Fred's house in Indiana and shot at cardboard cutouts of.
Yeah, it probably would be easier if you guys did live in Indiana. I feel like
it would be a lot easier if we lived in, or we just had like a redneck uncle or something that we'd be like, oh, we just want to. He's like, you're damn right you do, boys.
Yeah, or if I like finally after 6 years went back and talked to my dad and was like, hey Dad, could I borrow your gun? And he's like, finally. Yeah.
Tear falls down from his eye. He's like, this is the day you become a man. Yeah. I knew one day you'd come, as prophecy foretells. Come back to rural Washington.
Yeah. But we live in California and Illinois. Probably the two hardest states to.
Rightfully so.
Really? What about New York? New York is probably New York City. Probably impossible.
Yeah, New York is probably pretty harsh too. But yeah, Chicago. It's just not easy to go out there and just be blasting rounds. You have to bring a driver's license. You have to have some procedures. So we didn't get to do that. I think our opinions about.
Disappointed. I wanted to shoot.
Yeah, I thought it'd be funny. I have a tank top that says "I love El Salvador" and then the back's a giant flag, and I wanted to go in that and then like weird matching apparel, and possibly a blue bandana, and then I thought Kwame could just wear a do-rag, preferably like a white wife beater, and we just go in there. If we could also like have some like temporary,
they would like citizens residents.
I also think if we could have got some temporary tats going, like if I could have just had an area code temporary tat on my neck of a town you've never heard of. Yeah. I would have like multiple teardrops. Just be like, yeah, we're just trying. We're training.
Yeah.
I was getting into. I thought it would be really funny, but you just.
No, it turns out they're actually really responsible.
No, it turns out the city of Chicago actually has some safeguards in place, so that
these people and their responsibility.
You can't just do.
Yeah, there's only like one place you can even go to like shoot guns in Chicago that I could find.
Yeah, what if this is all turning into some horrible like campaign ad for Republican Congress? There was only one place, Kwame, like a single tear to his side. I just wanted it.
I mean, legally. I mean, you can drive around the city and you can shoot some guns if you want.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure if we had $400 worth of cash in a paper bag, we probably could have brought it.
Yeah, it might have been easier just to buy than to try and shoot. Like I hear about gun shows all the time, but I don't even know how to begin to even go to a gun show.
Well, I think you just get in your car and you just drive to Indiana, and then
because you could just buy shit from there without you don't need like anything, right? You could just buy it, right?
Yeah, you just need cash and a belief in that America was once a great place that has been corrupted, and that's there you go.
Do you guys feel a little less safe Now,
Well, because of the rules and regulations suffocating the people of Chicago? Probably.
yeah.
No. I mean, no, I've never used them at all in my life. I don't
I don't
think
like
they're
being around
necessary.
guns. Really,
Yeah, it seems
make me
scary.
nervous.
Makes me
No,
uneasy.
not-
I do
not
understand
fun.
in these times if someone wanted to get one to be like, hey, there's 20% unemployment outside. Let me just sharpen the bets a little bit. Let me just be a little bit safer. When you read the news and it's like, hey, 30 million people are going to get evicted next month. And you're like, okay, maybe it's also time to invest in like a moat.
Yeah.
And, and set up some landmines in the front yard for when they
But I feel like
come.
if society 20%, 30% people are unemployed, everyone starts getting a gun. It's not a good
vibe for sure. No, it's not what we want. Yeah. If everyone's broke and everyone's like, hey, let's just take up arms against our neighbor. That's not what we want. Yeah, for sure. If things were bad, it'd be bad. Yeah.
Well, I guess our self-defense episode kind of
We could try something else. You could try to do karate.
karate's a
You can try-
scam. It's a self-defense
What do you
scam.
mean? How's it a scam? It works.
It's an ancient art. Is Bruce Lee a scam? Did he exist? Is Bruce Lee fake news?
No, the Japanese people only spent a couple thousand years perfecting it. He's like, it's a scam.
That's some classic Cole stuff right there. Just say,
Scam.
Bruce Lee isn't even real.
I took a karate class as a kid, and all they did was make me run for
because that's like what
it was
you.
rule
It's like what you're
Washington
supposed to
karate.
do. Also, it's
what
like
was
what
the-
that's like.
yeah.
I took like a beginner's level karate class. The first like 3 days, they just make you like practice like jump. I think it's like discipline kind of. Because if you can't run, why am I going to try to teach you how to like stop somebody's heart with your fist? Or you can't run for 15 minutes.
Yeah, but I'm not there to get fit. I'm there to protect myself.
Yeah, but they don't teach you that day one.
Yeah, but step one, before your
The
body
martial
can become a
art.
weapon, it has to just become functional. Before you can use it to fend off burglars, you got to learn how to like run a mile.
You got to learn how to fend
You
off
can't-
burgers first.
Yeah,
You can fend off a fucking-
Yeah, the burgers, step one. Then probably 10 steps later is burglars.
But you know what's cheaper and more effective than karate? Mace.
Yeah, okay, I did not expect you to go there. I thought you were going to just go.
And that's the thing. That's a good point. Especially if you live in like a major city where there could be crime and shit. You use public transportation. Almost everybody should have mace, but men don't have mace because you're like, well, I'm not gonna be a bitch and get some mace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like
No,
yeah,
'cause it's-
Mace turned into like a woman's thing for some reason.
Right.
But it's
Well,
like
yeah,
it's like
'cause-
super
What do we-
effective. Like
Yeah, like I get robbed and I was like, well, at least I wasn't a bitch carrying mace. You know, at least
Sam
that
is
didn't.
not a bitch.
yeah, like
But like if you were getting robbed and you got in a fight and then you like kicked him in the balls by accident, you'd be like, I'm sorry, you might as well just take. my bad. I didn't mean to bitch out.
Can you imagine you pulled out mace? He's like, is that mace right there? Everyone just starts laughing at you in the middle of the robbery.
Motherfucker's got
Like, did he
mace.
just pull out mace? And then people on the train are like, is he a mace? Just start making funny.
yeah, like the number one defense against a bear is mace. It's bear mace.
Yeah, and that's a bear.
Yeah.
Like you're never going to be attacked by anything that is
We
as
had
threatening
bear
as a
mace
bear.
at my job.
If you could
Like
wait at your video game job?
Yeah,
in the
back,
middle of
just 'cause-
Chicago.
Yeah, why?
In case some
Bears just
in case
love
like some
Call of
crazy
Duty
shit,
multiplayer.
unless
In
some
case the
crazy shit
Bears
ever
pick
happened
it.
and something popped off, we got bear mace.
I never thought about that, but it's like
That'll
whatever.
probably, like,
If
blind
mace
you.
is
You
good
can hit
enough
bear
to fend off a 1,000-pound killing machine,
Yeah,
it's good enough for like someone who was breaking a window.
You get hit with bear mace, you might never see again. Fucking blind you. That's what you need to do if you want to make money. Don't try to rob somebody. Try to rob somebody who has mace, so they mace you, blind you, and then you can sue them.
Yeah, that's the tips and tricks you want to leave out there because it's
That's the move.
the way the economy's going. Some sort of scheme is imminent. You're gonna have to
You gotta
develop
learn to
a
scam.
scheme.
no,
Saw somebody on Twitter who was running a thing, pretends to be a girl, and then like scams like lonely men and send them nudes. And I was like, give me more months, and I might.
That's an entrepreneur. That's an American
Like, that is a
entrepreneur.
decent.
That's what we used to make startups. Now it's just ways to scam strangers on the internet. That's just what.
Horny men is a way. If you can find horny men on the internet and you can trick them,
If you can, that's
You could
just
be a millionaire
That's the
overnight.
biggest resource of money.
that's like
you
that's
can
like
just
the
tap into.
original scam. You say you got like a prostitute, and then a man comes and you hold him up. That's the
I like how you're like, yeah, you're like that's just a good time for everyone because it's like who's the victim? You were, that's just a
You know, you go to the
classical.
police and be like, well, I was walking on the street horny.
Yeah.
A strange man approached me.
Well, I was trying to just commit a crime at peace, and then somebody robbed me.
yeah. It's a simple, most effective scam there is. But
Well, that's So that's the lesson, boys and girls. Develop a scheme. You live in California or Chicago. You probably can't go to the range. And, yeah.
Do you guys think
No,
you
but-
would have been a good shot your first time?
Probably not. I'm super clumsy, and I suck at foot. Everything, hand-eye coordination for me is horrible, so I don't think it would have been good.
Yeah.
I think that would
I
have felt
don't
pretty
know.
bad.
I play video games, but I don't think that's
No,
close
that
enough
is
to it.
no. I don't think that's translatable at all, Kwame. I'm honestly, I think it's insane that you brought that up as if somehow that factors in.
I know how to aim.
You're like, well,
You can
I play a lot
aim
of
with
Call
a
of Duty.
joystick.
It's like, yeah,
You can aim with a joystick. You can aim.
I feel like you would have held the gun and been like, so where's the R2 on this thing? Like, how's the? No.
Square button.
When do I get a care package?
Yeah, Call of Duty can't really teach you to aim, but it can teach you to appreciate the greatness of America's military. Like that's its primary.
That's crazy.
That's
that
kind
we
of
just
it. Kind
have-
of is a propaganda game. Where
It,
you're
I
just
mean,
like,
it literally is. I was about to,
Yeah.
It's literally just like America propaganda. The game, and there's like 20 versions, 20 fucking sequels.
right,
Every
right.
game.
And
Have you
it's-
played them?
and-
Every game, the villain is either the Chinese or the Russians.
right.
Yeah.
In every game, it's always like, hey, why is this multiplayer map in Afghanistan? The kids should be like, wait, why are we in Afghanistan? Let's think about that. And they're like, this is so fun.
They tried
Like,
to
you can do
modernize
everything.
it. The last couple, I think, it was like in space or some shit, and people were like upset. They were like, "This sucks. Take us back to the
They're
Middle
like, hey,
East."
take this to a real place that we're currently destroying. Hey, I don't want some make believe. I want to know that this is an actual country that we've destroyed.
Honestly, I think it is the U.S. the Army's like greatest recruitment tool is those.
Call of Duty?
Call of Duty is
Yeah.
what it is.
Well, you see
Honestly,
AOC
I heard if you
AOC
get a certain
introduced
high
it.
score, you actually get a link and you can just apply right there. It'll take you.
AOC introduced a thing because Twitch. Twitch just had to ban the military from Twitch, right?
Yeah.
Because the U.S. Army was recruiting on Twitch. They were streaming. and then Twitch banned them, and then AOC introduced like a law to try to like ban the military from like recruiting on Twitch and shit.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I used to, when I was in college, I used to do some like teaching at some of the local high schools on the south side, and they all just had like heavy like military.
I mean,
Like
that's what it is. They
recruitment
just go to minority neighborhoods and poor neighborhoods and shit, and just try to trick people into.
Who here
Basically,
wants
they're like-
to have a salary?
Yeah, like you guys want a Camaro? Who
Yeah,
here wants to
that's
drive?
literally what it
Who
comes
wants to
down
drive a leased Camaro and get married at 19?
All you have to do is, basically, just have PTSD for the rest of your life, and then you get this Camaro. So.